the Knitting Samurai and Her Guys video podcast. This is episode 130, Northern Adventure Pending. I'm your host, Steph, also known as the Knitting Samurai. This right here is little T. Tristan Fellows. Welcome to the Knitting Samurai and Her Guys video podcast. This is episode 130. I feel a little disheveled. No, Northern Adventure Pending, and that would be Linus. And I'm your host, Steph. And let's get to it, shall we? So, change of scenery here. We are in my living room tonight. It is in the evening. I tried really hard not to record in the evening because the light is not optimal. But it's a do or die situation. Talk to you now or miss a week. So I thought it would be better to catch up now before we head north for an 8-hour car ride one way. One way. Yeah, I said one way with 2 children. So I thought I'd catch you up. And let's start off the show straight off the bat with Mission 2015. So, first one was 12 pairs of socks in a year, and so far this year I've completed 5, almost 6, if you count the starter socks for Steve that I finished last time. Then I'm at 6, but I don't really want to count those just because it's a gradient and it's not a true, what I'm thinking of as technically a self-striping yarn. So I'm somewhere between the two, but I do have a pair of socks half done, which you will see in a minute, and I'd like to count those towards this, so we'll see. 3 years to build a barn, so I'm shooting for 22 squares. I'm at the same spot I was at last month, so I have 8 completed squares towards that goal of 22. 2 sweaters for me, still completed, check done. I did the Miranda and the Grace. Let's see, Rhinebeck Thanksgiving Christmas sweaters for Tristan and Roland. Haven't done anything on that, but I will say that I was watching the Bookish Stitcher, that's Jeanette. You should totally check her out. She's very mellow, very sweet lady. And she was showing some stranded knitting she had done for her son when he was around Tristan's age, 1-2 years old. And this beautiful red with white Norwegian color work on it. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. What I would think of as your traditional ski sweater. So looking at hers inspired me, and I looked at some patterns, cute a bunch of things. So I think I'm going to head that way, and I think it might be cute if I made one like a blue and white and one a green and white, so that they match or coordinate but aren't exactly the same. So I'm thinking about getting sweaters for the boys done. And with less, I am so proud of this. Okay, so the goal here is less than 164 miles at the end of the year, and less than 29 projects at the end of the year, which is what I had when 2015 started. So this, what month are we? June is the first month since I've been doing this as one of my missions that I have not bought more yarn than I've knit. So I've gone backwards. I actually am down 3/4 of a mile from last month at this time. So that felt great. I'm still at 170.8 miles, so that is ahead of where I was, but with these stash dash completions happening, I feel like I've turned a corner or something. Like, I'm just very excited to have less. So, and I was also thinking that 2016, because this year's almost half over, it's time to start thinking about 2016. I think for that, I'm going to do straight up just less as my goal. So, I don't know if you could hear that. There's a lot of bird, squirrel, chipmunk wildlife in the backyard, so you may have some ambient noises. Also grills. So, and then whips, here we go. This is also down. Oh, I finished one yesterday, so that actually changes this. I currently have 23 projects on the needles, 6 active and 17 hibernating, but I added one, so maybe I am at 24. We'll just say 24 for the official. 7 active and 17 hibernating, which is down 2 from last month. So I frogged the campsite shawl. I finished the jet plane mittens, You're gonna see. I kind of don't like this. It's like precursor. Maybe I should not do this segment first again. But I finished those, and I finished the mom starter socks. So that was 2 UFOs that are out. They're out. So I have 17, and my goal, 17 UFOs. My goal had been to get to 15 and total, combining UFO and active is usually about 5 for me. So if I can just get rid of 7 more projects before the end of the year, I will be thrilled. Like, I bet that's less whips than I've ever had in my knitting career. I always have projects hiding away somewhere, unloved, if you will. So that's the Mission 2015 update. Should we move into knitting?
First up,
let's do that. Squirrel Speaks project bag. I'm not sure what size it is, but it's long and it's perfect for socks. And that's Linus. I don't know if you've seen him yet. He's been up and down and in and out, as I'm sure he will be. And no, we do not shave him. His hair is curly, although he's getting old. He's 11 years old now, and he's a Devon Rex cat. So he's supposed to have these beautiful waves on the side of his body. Aren't you? Aren't you? Yes, yes. Playful as a kitten still. So in here I have what I'm thinking of as my glue that sings. And these are Scrumptious Pearl, Straighten Me Up in the Berry Licious colorway. And I'm doing toe up with a 2x2 rib on top. My plan was to knit them with my standard Wendy Johnson slip stitch heel pattern, but I don't want to do color management in terms of keeping the stripes the same color. That's the tub. And so I decided to go with Fish Lips Kiss Heel instead. So they are both, oh, this one's, I thought I was a lot closer to, so this one is the length I need to start the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. So I knit that far and stopped, and then I started working on the other one a bit more, and I thought I was further along. So I'm about 2 inches shorter on the second one. And I'm planning on turning the heels during our very long car trip. Very, very, very long car trip. So those are on my needles. What else to tell you? My needles are US size 0, 2mm. And the Fish Lips Kiss Heel is by Socks Therapist. And the pattern is $1 on Rav. And it's exceedingly long, but you don't need the whole pattern, right? So let me just show you this. I've condensed the portion that is relevant to the heel, which is what I want it for, from my foot onto a little note card this big. So on one side, I have instructions for Fish Lips Kiss Heel, and on the other side, I have instructions for Slip Stitch Heel, basic socks. So, and they're laminated with packing tape, and that's in almost every single one of my sock knitting project bags, so that I always have the heel instructions, because the rest of the sock you can knit on your own. So, my next project to show you this week is in another new Fat Squirrel Fibers, Fat Squirrel Speaks project bag. This one's taller than the other one, and to be honest, I don't like it as much. So, and I can never remember what size it is I like, and so I end up not with always the size I like. So I like this size better than that size. This one's a little too deep, or it's for a larger project, more like a maybe a 2-skein shawl or a baby sweater, something you need more yarn for. So I had been shooting for knitting 4 more swirl hats by Mandy Harrington, and the first one I finished was this. The second one was, or maybe the monkey was the first one. This one incorporated the monkey stitch pattern into it, and that's Inspiration Dye Works, Walking at Midnight. And this one is, give me a second, White Birch Fiber Arts Tan Rested and Ready, which is a self-striping, and look at how cool that went. And then the next one I finished was back to the swirl pattern, straight up following the pattern as written. Hello, honey. This one is Knit Picks Felici and Goth, which is another self-striping. And this one matches the baby vertebrae, or newborn vertebrae sweater that I knit a few months ago. So great, nice gift project for, or gift set for Randy. She's due in August. And then the fourth and final one, I used the Little Night pattern for this by OLHA. I have an end off the top. Steve picked out the yarn out of scraps in my stash. This is J Knit Superwash Me sock in the Louisiana colorway, and I don't know if you're gonna see it, but there are twisted stitches around the brim. It's a free pattern. Twisted stitches in a 1x1 rib, and then it goes up to a little V here at the center, a point at the center in the head. Tristan had one of these when he was baby, and I loved it, so I thought I'd make one for a gift. So those 4 projects are done, added to the 4 I already have sewn in the ends, blocked. I'm thinking of the 8 of them together as one project, and that is 601 finished yards right there. Boom, boom, towards the stash dash. Yay! And all of them were knit on US size 2s and 3s, 2.75, 3.25 millimeter needles, and I have some leftovers still. So I've got to come up with something else to do with that, because I want to get those yarns knit up and out of my stash so I can put the blanket squares that I used, that I initially knit as test squares for Tristan's barn raising quilt, so I can say that those yarns are used up and put them in with my larger barn raising quilt. I know, all these plans. Sometimes I think I'm a little crazy, but it's what makes me happy. Martina Bem, the Easy Shawl. That lady cranks out shawls like nobody's business, and the Easy Shawl is a really great one. This is the second one I knit. I am using California Carnival in the self-striping spring jeans colorway, and that comes with a a coordinating heel and toe yarn of 100 extra yards of the semi-solid navy color. So the stripes of the yarn itself are a pastel rainbow stripe mixed in with a semi-solid navy stripe. I am not in the middle of a row, I'm just all tangled. And I did buy a shorter cord, a 24-inch cable, and these are carbons, which are my favorite needles currently, and this is a US size 3, 3.25 millimeter, and Linus is just dying to get in this top. But you can see the navy or the blue stripes alternating with the rainbow section. So I put a good chunk of work in on this, and I feel like it's starting to get really muddled in through here. Let me show it that way. Yeah. So I might start mixing in some of this solid navy, or semi-solid navy, just adding in a couple more stripes, a couple more rows into the navy stripes to extend it, so that the navy chunks are a little bigger than the rainbow pastel sections. So we'll see. I know you're such a happy boy. So I'm really enjoying this project, and I actually had to force myself to set it down this week to work on something else, because I gotta have things to show. Can't just focus all in on one thing. And I have things I want to get finished. And this is just fun potato chip knitting, and it is an 80-20? No, 80-10-10. It's a cashmere. Thanks. I don't have it written down. It's a cashmere merino blend. Cashmere merino nylon blend. Here's a card. Let's see, 80-10-10. Yep, sock weight. I don't know if it'll focus on that, but there, I tried to show you. And this is in my Jan B. Smiley bag. So, my rustic, very lovely bag. It's another deep one. That's a pretty good size, I think, to have that bottom shape. What else? My jet plane mitts. So these were felted mittens, children's mittens, and the designer is Tech Knits on RAF. I used Malabrigo worsted, which is 100% single ply, not super fine, single ply merino yarn. And I'm not sure if I had a full finished pair last time I saw you, but here's the larger size, and here's the smaller pair. So you can see the two of those are done and off my needles. That used 189 yards. I'm saying that from memory because my eyes are lost on my pattern. I cast these on in January and finished them in June, so just in time for the boys to wear them next winter. I don't think the larger size will fit Roland for very long, if at all, but I'll wear them once or twice, and I'll be happy to see him wear them. That's good. So, more than anything, I'm just glad these are off my needles. So, I knit the let's see what else. The color is 59 lime. I don't have the needle sizes written down, but I want to say the mitts themselves were knit on sevens or eights, and then the ribbing on the cuff I knit on size 3s. So I went way down to try and get it to really cinch in. And they're plenty elastic enough for him. So right now Tristan is asleep and Roland is in the tub, so I can hear him up there. So there's that. What else? What else? There's so much I've been working on. Barn raising quilt squares. I said I wasn't going to show you anything for Tristan until I had 4, and I have 4. So there's one of the patterned ones. A solid yellow, a solid yellow, a solid yellow. It puts my count for this at 19 finished squares. I have 7 of these, 7 of the turquoise green, and 5 of the yellow. And the yellow is a bit of a challenge to knit just because it's not very exciting. And I knit on them in the movie theaters yesterday in the dark a little bit. So, and that's a good time to work on it. I'm sure it'll be good car knitting, and I actually might limit myself to what I bring north with me just because there isn't a lot of space in the car for lots of knitting projects. And I think if I don't have a choice and have to knit this, which is mindless, I have to have something mindless for all the socializing and to be able to throw it down. But if I'm out of options, I think I will get a lot more of these squares done because it's my goal to knit 28 or 30 of these and get them assembled before the end of Stash Dash. So, which knitting 9 or 11 squares is not a lot to knit between now and then, and block and seam and I can't remember who it was. Someone was teasing me over on Instagram if I had picked my border color. It's just going to be the teal. I went through too much trying to pick out the colors of the squares themselves that I'm just going to go with this and call it good. That's the color I love. So there's that. Okay, we're getting there. I did a poll on last week's show on the Rav group, and I also posted it on Instagram and asked people for advice on which of 3 colors I should knit. If you saw the episode, you saw the 3 yarns I was thinking of, and the online Super Soft Neon won. So I think it won by like 2 votes when I added them up. So I do have the start of the toe. This is kind of an itchy yarn. I mean, it's opal-esque, it's Regia-esque. I'm sure it's another German yarn. It's probably the same base, but it just compared to that really soft, scrumptious pearl yarn, yeah, it's not as soft. But I do like the bright colors, and I'm going to be with our great adventure north is with my parents. We're going to stay with my aunt and uncle and my cousin who's coming back from college. I mean, it's her childhood home, but she doesn't currently live there. She's in college. And my parents are bringing their motorhome, and we're going to carpool up with them, or caravan, I guess. So we'll switch drivers and switch riders, and everybody's going to jump between the vehicles. And about halfway up, my cousin's getting in on it, so it's going to be this whole adventure. But I'm telling you this because my dad or my cousin are the 2 that are most likely to like this sock. So I'm tempted to just knit on it with the group and see what everybody says, because it is a very bright neon. Very bright. And I think I bought this with my dad in mind because he loves yellow, but not sure about neon yellow. So there's that. Okay, so there's 2 projects over here, and one of them I haven't really worked on. So I don't think this is going to go. My baby surprise jacket, I'm definitely not going to have it done in time for the Fibernymph Dye Works ABC Cal for this month. So I think I'm just going to leave this one at home, and I'll get back to it. I will. It still counts as active for me, and I really want to use up the last of my white birch fiber X on it. So maybe I'll wait till the W's come around, and then I'll finish it up for Fibernymph. But in this bag right here is a project you haven't seen for a while. And I was afraid when Stash Dash started, and I was counting out my yardage and what I needed to work on in order to achieve the 5K, that counting this, the 2010 cardigan by Vera Vacamali, and on that was foolish of me that I had lost all motivation to knit this back in April, and I didn't see it coming back, the motivation coming back anytime soon. But last night, the boys were in bed at 7:30, and Ro was down sleeping, and Steve went to bed. He didn't feel well either, so he just lay in bed and read. And so I was up for like 3 hours by myself, and I thought this is the perfect time to tackle that project. So I pulled it out, and I am using Valley Yarns in Northampton Bulky in the fawn colorway. I'm knitting on, I've got some fuzz on my nose, US size 8 5mm needles, and I needed to finish the back panel, so I did that. I had some straight knitting to go there, finished that, and seamed my shoulders, and started on my first sleeve, which I've never done a short row sleeve cap before. New construction for me, so that's exciting to be doing. I know that when I cast this on, I weighed 25 pounds, more than I weigh now, 25 pounds. And last night when I got the shoulders sewn together, I tried it on, and wouldn't you know, that bottom edge, that bottom hem fits me perfect. I've gone down a pant size and a half, almost 2, another 10 pounds, and I'll be down 2 pant sizes, and it just fits me now. I was kind of like, oh, because it looks really, really huge to me when I hold it up. But it's asymmetrical, and it doesn't have, it's all knit in one piece, so it doesn't have a side seam to kind of make it bend at the sides. So I feel like when I'm holding it, the 2 fronts are swinging back, so it's making it look even bigger. You know, like if I look at me trying to convince you that it's really not as big as I think it is. But anyway, so this is an asymmetrical cowl neck short sleeve sweater. So, it sounds like they're getting out of the tub. Yeah, I'm just looking. I think that's all I have to say about it, right? So I need to finish the sleeve, which is going swimmingly. I kind of like the look of the reverse stockinette, and I picked up the way, either it's the size of the yarn, the bulk of it, so it fills in the space where you might otherwise have between stitches, if that makes sense. But my seam looks really, really neat where I picked it up. I'm not a huge fan of that because a lot of times armholes just don't look as nice, as tailored as I would like them to look when you seam it in. So picking up and knitting the cap down is looking really good to me. So I think this sweater has great potential. And it also has a lot of yardage. I'm going to be well over 1,000 yards on this guy. So, and I have finished 6 skeins. This is my 7th skein. So, not one that's going to go north. Look at how big this is. And I'm carrying it in a giant tote bag just because it is so massive. So massive. So, that's it for knitting projects. Oh my goodness. Okay, time for me to start knitting. Let's do it. Let's talk about what's new. I can't believe I must have already talked about the Knit Girls knit along. I know I must have. That can't be new. I feel like saying this is the point in the show where Stephanie tangles her yarn and spends an obscene amount of time untangling it so that she can knit for the 5 minutes it takes her to finish out the shell. But you know what? Those 5 minutes, they all add up, and it gives you great knitting progress when you do just sneak it in here and there. We have an older house and the floors do creak. So let me narrate the background sounds as the boys walk across into the bedroom and into the reading chair to do stories. Stash Dash, want an update on that? So we have, as of Friday, August 14th, no, that's the finish date. As of last Friday, today is Monday, we have 7 weeks to go. So we are officially halfway through Stash Dash, I think. So that is to knit. If you're unfamiliar, it is a knit along, motivation along, hosted by the Knit Girls with 3 L's. You should check out their podcast if you don't, which I can't imagine you wouldn't, but you should. So the goal is to knit 5,468 yards between the summer months of May and August. And to that goal, with my 2 completed projects this week. I had 2,004 yards up to this point, and I added another 189 for the mittens and another 601 for the swirl hats, so that puts me at 2,605 yards. I am very pleased with that progress. So I am 48% finished. Woo woo! And I still have, if I look at my plan that I made at the beginning of Stash Dash, which I think is the reason I failed the year that I did. I've tried 4 times and I finished 3 times. And the year I failed, I think it was because I didn't actually map out what I needed to complete. So my initial plan, I'm tangled. Of course I'm tangled. Why wouldn't I be tangled? Was to knit the Easy Boomerang, the Narnia socks, the 2015 cardigan, the Barn Raising quilt, socks for my father-in-law, and 2 more pairs of socks. And that was about 400 yards short. And so far, I am doing really, I've finished well, you don't need to hear all that, but I've done a lot of what I had intended to do. So I'm really pleased with that. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Stash Dash. How about some boy ventures? Let me tell you about those. So the weekend before last, after we last spoke, we went to Rockland, Maine to visit my in-laws, and another caravanning adventure. My parents took their motorhome. They love doing that. They brought that, and we flipped back and forth between drivers. It was almost a test run for this 8-hour car trip we're going to take. And so we went to visit my in-laws, and we spent the day all together, the whole extended family. It was a great day. We had so much fun. It was actually the day before Father's Day and the summer solstice. And while we were up there, my dad had Tristan up on his shoulders, and I recorded this.
Can you clap for Tristan? Clap for Tristan. Don't take his glasses. No, don't.
And the reason I turned that off when I did was because Tristan had grabbed my dad's glasses and he ripped off, he like bent the frame such that it broke away from the glass. So my dad ended up with glasses that kind of looked like that. Like, I felt so bad. And they're like titanium or some super light alloy frame that is frameless, and it just has this one point where it hooks in. So, poor guy. He had to wear sunglasses the rest of the weekend, but Tristan was having fun now. Yesterday, actually, Sunday afternoon, it was a rainy, dreary day here, and we've been cooped up all day, and I've been wanting to see the Inside Out movie, and Roland's never seen a movie in a theater, and I thought, today's the perfect day. And I know that everyone else in New Hampshire is going to think today is the perfect day. So we drove past the theater that was closest to us. that was like 10 minutes before showtime. We drove past that theater to one that was another 10 minutes away almost in Seabrook, New Hampshire. And they had 2 showtimes, a 4:20 and a 4:50. And we walked in the door, and he's so excited. And we brought baby sea turtle, because he sleeps with, that's his like power animal or his guide. That's his lovey, is a sea turtle. It's like yay big. And then he has 2 mini ones that look exactly the same. So we brought one of the minis with him because he's a sensitive boy. And I knew that he might get scared, and having sea turtle and talking about how we were going to take care of sea turtle, and sea turtle needed to be brave in the dark and all that stuff was going to help her out. So we had sea turtle, and walk in the door, and this family like comes right up to us. And they're like, "Are you here to see Inside Out?" "Yes." "Do you have tickets yet?" "No." "Do you want tickets? We have 2. We can't sit together. We're not going here. Take our tickets." And I was like, "Okay, thanks. Like, it took me, and the dad squeezed my arm, and he said, "Have a good time." And they walked out the door. And I was like, oh, that's like super sweet. So we went and we got our candy, and we walked in. And it's a stadium theater, and we tried to find seats. No seats except the front row. So Roland saw his first movie at a stadium theater, so the screen is huge, and he was in the front row. Oh, we both leaned way back, and he sat on my lap for a while, and we both leaned way back, and he did great. He loved it. Loved it. I was so happy to share that with him. So, and this morning when I dropped him off at school, he ran in, told all his friends he went to the movies, told everybody how brave he was. He did a really good job. There was only 2 points when he asked to go home, and they were at what I was sitting there feeling like, okay, let's move the plot along. Like it was slow points in the movie. So I don't blame him, but he did a really great job, and I'm so pleased with that. The other thing he did on Saturday morning, Tris was napping. Steve was, I think he was out for a run or something. So Roland and I were down here by ourselves. Rose playing, I'm knitting. He comes over and he wants to knit. So this is a rather long, but very cute, very worth it video of Roland. What are you doing, Roland?
I'm knitting.
What are you knitting?
Fleece.
A fleece?
Yeah.
What color is your fleece?
Blue.
It's blue. Oh, what are you going to do with it when you're done knitting your fleece?
I'm going to cut some of the thing off.
Yeah, and do what?
And I'm going to wrap it up
Mm-hmm.
in a thing.
In a thing, and do what with it?
Then we're going to get it from package mail and say, bring this sweater to Junie.
Gonna give it to the package man. Okay. And then is Junie gonna wear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And he's going to be happy.
Yeah.
Can you untie this?
How'd it get tied like this?
Can you help me knit a sleeve, please?
A sleeve fleece?
Yeah. You do the other one and I do this one.
Okay. I do this needle?
Yeah, and I do this needle.
Okay. You know it takes a long time to knit a fleece.
So let's knit it. Knit, 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 knit.
You sound like Pepe. He says that. Whoa, look at this, Roland.
What?
Got some stitches.
Knitches.
Stitches.
Knitches.
Stitches.
Knitches.
Stitches. Okay. Now you want to knit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's my pencil?
Okay. It's not a pencil. What's it called?
Needle.
Needle. Right. Okay.
Daddy.
What? Hey, did you hear him walking around?
I heard his feet on his tip.
Yeah. Okay. You got to take your pencil and push it through there. Can you do that? Okay, and then the next thing you do is you take your yarn and you wrap it around. Pull this one off. You knit a stitch.
Where's this stitch?
Well, now you just pull that off. This is not the easiest thing I've ever done. Okay, let me see it for a second.
We didn't do it.
Teamwork. All right, you know what I think?
I will do the knit and you do those ones, okay?
You'll do the knitting and I do this part?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you knitting?
I'm unwrapping.
You're unwrapping it. So that I can knit with it? Well, that's nice.
Then when you that you also give it to me, then we will find a box, then we will wrap it up, then we will go in the car,
Yeah.
then we will say, Mailman, bring it to Junie.
Okay.
But how can we catch him?
The mailman?
Yeah.
Oh, I think if you just walk up to him and ask him to take your package, he'd take it. I have a question. Where are we going next week? Bonnie and Uncle Dave's house?
Yeah.
And what are we going to do when we're up there?
Is there like toys in Grandpa's house?
It's different toys. So Bonnie and Uncle Dave have a swimming pool. And an ATV-like rider. And big kid toys. And Uncle Dave has a basketball hoop. And I'm going to guess that we're going to roast marshmallows.
What are marshmallows?
Oh my goodness. Have you not roasted marshmallows before? Whoa. Time to get on it. You know who else is going to be there? Cousin Lauren. LT. LT's gonna be there.
Hey, let me put this on your nose.
No, I don't want it on my nose. Are we done with our knitting? Needles sharp. You have to be careful.
Knit a face for Julie, okay?
I'm working on it.
Can we knit really big?
Well, you know, knitting takes a long time, sweetheart. Look, I made you this much.
No, that's not my face.
Well, that's what I made for you. A little I-cord. So yeah, so we're going to visit my Aunt Bonnie, Uncle Dave, and Cousin Lauren, and I think it's hilarious that the way he measures the quality of a place, of a house, is against the number of toys at Grampy's house, because Grampy has an insane number of toys. My in-laws, I think, saved every toy that their two sons had growing up. And every time we go up there, he's pulling out some other new to Roland, old toy that he's found, and, you know, big things, and just, so it's very exciting, because a lot of them are metal and rusty, and just toys I would not normally let him play with. But for an afternoon, it's okay. It's okay. Everything washes off. So that's it. That's what I have to tell you about my boys. Rather long-winded this week, I know, but I also, you know, part of recording at home is I am more relaxed here than I ever am at the office. At the office, I am full of caffeine and very amped up and ready to go. And at home, I'm still ready to go, but I don't know if you could see the difference, but I can feel it. So if you enjoyed this and would like to leave a star rating on iTunes, I would appreciate it. And if you'd like to find more episodes, you can find them on YouTube under Knitting Samurai and Her Guys. There's a blog by the same name at Blogspot and a second one at WordPress.com. You can find me on Blip. Did I say in iTunes? Because you can find me there. And until we talk again in about a week. It won't be 10 days. It'll be a week. Enjoy what's going on in your knitting. Happy 4th of July if you're in the States. If you're not, enjoy a beautiful summer weekend. Okay, take care. Bye.